Hey guys, welcome back to Queen G's Recipes, and today I'm going to be showing you how I like to make my cauliflower gratin. Now it's very simple, but there are very different ways of making it on the internet, but I wanted to show you guys how I like to make my recipe. Now it is a perfect side dish for any dinner, but most definitely now is the holidays and you're hosting a lot of dinners, and this is the perfect side dish that you could make. You can double or triple the recipe, make as much or as little as you want, but let me show you how I like to make it and the ingredients that I use. So in a saucepan I have a 1/4 cup of salted butter. Now if you want to use unsalted, that's fine too. My spices here, I have 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and I have 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/8 a teaspoon of paprika, and 1/8 a teaspoon of oregano. I also have 3 garlic cloves, which I have peeled, and I just kind of slice them a little bit with the knife so that when we actually make the bechamel sauce, it will release the garlic flavor into the sauce. So here I have 1/2 a cup of flour, 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of shredded mozzarella cheese. I have 2 full cups here of shredded mozzarella cheese. Now, most definitely you can use cheddar, you can use Monterey Jack, I mean, you can use whatever you want, or you can even mix them up. It's all about your preference. And here I have one, it was a pretty fair size cauliflower, I would say medium to large size cauliflower, which I broke up, I washed, rinsed, and I have it here ready so we can put it in a saucepan and boil it. So what we're going to do is we're going to boil this for exactly 5 minutes and no longer, because we don't want it to get soft. We just want it to tenderize just a little bit. So I'm also going to be using an aluminum pan here, which I have sprayed with some non-stick spray. You can use it, you can make it in any pan that you like as long as it is oven safe, and you want to make sure that your oven is preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to go on to cooking my cauliflower just for 5 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next step. Once your cauliflower has boiled for 5 minutes, you're just going to remove it with a slotted spoon, keep it aside, and we're going to work on our bechamel sauce. So now for our bechamel sauce, what we're going to do is we're going to put our stove top on medium-low heat, and we're going to melt our butter. And as soon as our butter is melted, we are going to add in our flour and mix it quickly together, making sure that it doesn't burn. And we're going to make somewhat of a paste. It's going to be like a whitish yellowish paste, and then we'll add our milk and all of our spices and our garlic. For now, I'm just gonna allow this to melt. Okay, so now that my butter is completely melted, I'm going to add in my flour, and I'm going to stir this quickly so that it becomes a nice paste, as you can see. Making sure you don't allow it to burn. Now make sure also when you're melting your butter, don't get distracted because it can burn. So just be careful. That's all. So as you can see, it's become like a little pasty dough. Make sure all the flour is gone. And now, once this is done, I'm going to add in my milk. And we're going to continuously stir this on medium-low heat until it becomes a nice, thick, creamy sauce. Now, before that, I am going to add in my garlic. Now, don't worry about the chunks of dough in here. These will all disappear into the milk mixture. Just continue, you know, stirring it and kind of mashing it down. It will all stir into the milk and become a beautiful thick mixture. Now our spices. I'm going to continue to stir this. It could take up to 5-7 minutes. Keep an eye on it, continuously stir. I'm just gonna clean up here, and then I'll let you know how long it took for mine to get to the thick consistency and what it looks like when we get there. Okay, so it's been exactly 5 minutes, and as you can see, my sauce has thickened perfectly. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in about 1 3/4 cups of the mozzarella cheese that I have shredded. Now at this point, there's always options. If you find that the sauce is too thick, or if you find that you prefer a lighter sauce, you know, whatever the case may be, you can add in another cup of milk. That is totally fine. And if you find that you don't like oregano, you can always add in, you know, some dried parsley. You can play around with the recipe. I mean, adjust it to your liking. If you want to put less salt, less pepper, it's totally up to you. So now I'm going to remove this from the stove and I'm going to add in my cheese. So now we'll add in our cheese. I like my sauce on the thicker side, but as I said, play around with it, add more milk, do what you want. So I am leaving about 1/4 cup, just to be able, 1/4 to 1/3 cup, depending on how much you want to put on your topping. So once we have this mixture all complete and everything is in our pan, we want to sprinkle the remaining cheese on top of the cauliflower, and we're going to place it into our oven. It's as simple as that, guys. Now just allow the cheese to melt into the mixture. Now I did leave my garlic cloves in here because my family doesn't mind that, but you can most definitely scoop it out. It is just to add that beautiful garlic flavor. If you don't have garlic, you can always use some garlic powder, like, you know, 1/2 teaspoon, that's fine too. Use what you have. Okay, so everything is nicely melted. Now we're going to assemble our cauliflower gratin. Okay, so let's prepare our cauliflower here. What I like to do is I like to place my cauliflower right on the bottom of the pan. Okay, spread it out evenly. And then we're going to place our sauce. It smells so good, I can't even tell you. Okay, so just like that, spread it over. Make sure every piece gets coated. Okay. Now this is so easy to make, but it is so, so good. You have to try it yourself. So I have coated everything with my sauce here. And we're going to need to bake this for about 40 to 50 minutes. Okay, so we're going to place this into our oven now, preheated at 350 degrees, and probably about 10 minutes before it's completely done, we are going to sprinkle our cheese, and we're going to increase our oven temperature to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to let the cheese melt for about 10 minutes and then remove it. Make sure you keep an eye on it because every oven varies. So your cauliflower may only need 5 minutes now, so keep an eye on it and make sure once you add your cheese that you don't let it burn, because it can burn really easily. And that's it. I'll let you know when mine gets there and when I put it back in for 10 minutes and how long mine was in there for. Okay guys, so my cauliflower was in the oven for exactly 25 minutes. As you can see, I have nice golden edges around my cauliflower. Now, if you want your cauliflower to just be nice and creamy white, like without any of this extra golden crispy edges, that's totally fine. What you can do is you can cover it for the half an hour with some aluminum foil, and then when we're ready to put our cheese, you can remove it it and put it back into the oven without the aluminum foil for 10 minutes. So that's up to you. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place the remaining cheese on top. I already have my oven preheating to 400 degrees Fahrenheit so we can melt our cheese and allow it to become nice and golden. Now I did test it with a fork to see if my cauliflower was nice and tender, and it already was, so I know it's time to remove it. So now we're going to place this into our preheated oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for exactly 10 minutes, or as I said, keep an eye on it so that your cheese doesn't burn. It may be less, it may be a couple minutes more, just until the cheese is nicely melted and bubbly and golden brown. Okay guys, so after placing the cheese on top, my cauliflower gratin was in the oven for exactly 7 minutes. It started to really bubble up. As you can see, it's nicely golden brown. It's perfect just the way I like it. But as I said, make it your own, change it up, do whatever you want to do. But right now we are going to try some. I'm going to plate some and we are going to try it. I'm just going to let it cool off for about 5 minutes. Okay, so let's just try some. I'm going to take this nice big piece here. I cannot tell you guys how delicious this looks and smells and tastes. So now we're going to try some. It is perfect, not overcooked. I cannot even tell you guys how good it is. It was really, really hot there for a few seconds, but it is delicious. And that's about it, guys. I really hope you guys try out this recipe. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you can see my future videos. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be aware of all of the videos that I upload. And take care. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.